triumph.
Welcome back to Alliance Tournament 15. I am joined on the desk here by Jintan, Rylode, and Ithaca. The next game that we will be covering here is Samurai Sold Out versus Ghost Legion, and that'll be coming up very shortly. So Jintan, I want to turn to you first. And before we get into this, because I'm sure a lot of people out there are wondering about this, so let's clear up any confusion here. The reason that you're wearing these ears right now is because Waffles won in their previous round. Now, I have to get your input on this. How are you feeling right now?
I'm questioning my life decisions and wondering if I should do something advocated by a team whose name we can't say on this stream.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, Samurai Sold Out versus Ghost Legion. I want to get your guys' thoughts. I'll start with you, Jintan. Any favourites between these players?
I absolutely love Samurai Sold Out.
Okay.
They bring some very unique, not great, not good, but very interesting comps every time they show up in the Alliance tournament. And unfortunately, they're probably about to get their teeth absolutely kicked in by Ghost Legion, who have been fairly impressive so far, despite taking an early loss to relative unknown Laserhawks, who've proven to also be very good.
Okay, so it looks like the game is ready. So we're going to pass over now to our casters, and they are going to break down Samurai Sold Out versus Ghost Legion.
Guys, welcome back to Alliance Tournament 15 action. This is day 3. I'm Elise Randolph, joined by Apophany with match number 73 between Samurai Sold Out and Ghost Legion. Samurai Sold Out in red on your screen here came in mostly at 0 on the beacon with Geddon and then 5 Navy battlecruisers, Fleet Hurricane, 2 Navy Harps, 2 Navy Brutixes, Twin Deacons for Frigate Logi, also at 0 on the beacon, risky choice, and then 2 Griffins at 50 kilometers. Apophany, tell me what Ghost Legion's got.
Oh man, you know I love those Logi freaks. For the Ghost Legion team, we have a Balgorn, a Guardian, 2 Myrmidons, 2 Ish Shards, a Svipple, a Vexer, and 2 Purifiers, with only 8 seconds left till the match starts. I could not be more excited for this match, seeing how the Balgorn takes care of those Deacons if we can get those webs on them.
Yeah, this is a flag Balgorn as well, but piloted by VTA Sean, and he's only 10 kilometers away from these Deacons. The Balgorn could potentially go up to 73 with its web, so it's definitely going to get its pain off on these Deacons.
Yep, we see the Purifiers taking a ton of damage here. Looks like a little bit of split fire, maybe to confuse the Logi, but it looks like he's just going to manage to catch them, wrap them both up just fine. Actually, no, they're still falling, but it's taking them a while, meaning those Purifiers are doing as much damage as possible, trying to pull range as best they can. They're not tackled at the moment, but the one still goes down, and then there goes the second shortly after.
Yep, so the 2 Purifiers down, that's the big threat against the Armageddon of the Samurai Sold Out team. So great target selection from the Samurai Sold Out team. And you know, their Deacon is actually holding on pretty strong right now. I'm surprised this Ghost Legion Balgorn isn't putting any newt pressure on these Deacons. Instead, they're focusing on the Navy Harbingers.
Yeah, you know, stopping that DPS coming in is a pretty reasonable goal. You know, and the long cycle time on the newts can not be as effective on the Deacons against regular T2 Logi. They're obviously still very effective, especially because they, you know, got small cap boosters which cycle relatively. Now we have webs on the Deacon, webbed and painted. This is much more dangerous. Those webs finally landing, controlling Deacons makes it so difficult, and there immediately goes down. 1 Deacon down, which means the second Deacon is shortly to follow. So we have a team who will soon lose both their Logis. However, Ghost Legion already lost 4 ships of their lower end. So Samurai Sold Out ahead in points, but without the Logi. This is all going to depend on whether their core can survive through. It's going to be very difficult with Samurai Sold Out's jams from the Griffins, which now have to spread across many fewer targets.
Yep, and we can see right now the Griffins aren't getting any successful jams off because the control bar for the Ghost Legion is still being applied to its full. So this Balgorn can still get its control off. This Guardian is still getting reps off. And these Myrmidons don't need locks. So you know what? Although Ghost Legion might be getting their jams, none of them are, you know, landing. So they're still able to apply everything. Samurai Sold Out has lost their 2 Deacons and are now about to lose their Geddon. Important target calling here. Ghost Legion decided to use their Balgorn to focus on the Navy Harbingers and the Navy Brutix. These ships really desperately need capacitor to fire their guns and to maneuver around the field. The Navy Harbingers are going to be far less effective right now because of this is going on. On the other side, Samurai Sold Out has been using their Armageddon to only nude out the Guardian this whole time.
Yeah, despite how it may look, this is still a pretty close match. There is a ton of EHP on the Samurai Sword Out team to chew through. As I say that, Navy Hard drops, even without Logi. The Ghost Legion team, if that Logi drops or doesn't pay attention, Ishtars and Myrmidons are much squishier than their Navy battle cruisers, as well as the Balgorn, of course, has a ton of tank. We're going to have to see how it goes here. It looks like we've got a Navy Brutix of Ray Nagas here going down as well. It's actually going down pretty quickly. That is a lot of DPS from those heavy drones.
Yep, and Ghost Legion, you know, they do have their Logi, which is still good, but they need to keep their 2 Ishtars and 2 Myrmidons alive. They need every little bit of damage that they have. You can see the Samurai Sold Out still has a pretty massive attack bar. They are applying it fully right now, even under cap pressure from this Balgorn. So it's very important that Ghost Legion can hold on here for the next couple seconds here, and they cannot let their Guardian get jammed or cap dry.
Yeah, what surprises me really is that there are no jams from the Griffin even attempted on the Guardian at the moment, it seems at least. I mean, you know, you drop those reps, you can start burning through everything. They've been struggling and failing to break things. Sure, they have some newts on the Guardian, but the newts clearly aren't doing enough work. So the Griffins should really be getting some more jams on the Guardian, at least 1 or 2, you know, trying to get that lucky jam to try and burn through those reps as quickly as possible. Because currently, you know, they're not breaking this core. They're just slowly losing more and more ships through the jams on the DPS. Their strategy is not working, and it may be too late to try something new.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit too late. Ghost Legion at the start of the match had a good, solid game plan. They're very practiced, very methodical. They knew exactly where to put their control, exactly where to put their newts. Focused on the Harbinger and Navy Brutixes. They didn't care about the Geddon. They didn't care about the Logi Frigs at all. They just wanted to get the damage cap dry. And the longer this match went, the more it went in their favor. Samurai Sold Out on the other side, you know, they said, you know, we'll just put all our Geddon newts on this Guardian to get him out of commission. It wasn't enough. The Guardian can inject. And now the Guardian is cap dry after about 5 minutes, and he's going down, but so much damage has been done to the Samurai Sold Out team.
Yeah, it's just taken too long. I mean, maybe they assumed, as I said, you know, you got so much EHP to burn through, but there is a ton of damage that comes out of 4 sets of bonus heavy drones, man. There was a reason they were banned for, what was it, 2 or 3 years. They put out so much damage they can go anywhere. They don't care if the main ship is jammed. They're just going to keep working. And here we see the Guardian finally falling for Ghost Legion. But, you know, 2 Griffins and an Armageddon and a Kane against a Bal, 2 Myrms and 2 Ishtars. I think I know who I think is going to win, though I can be proven wrong as usual.
Yeah, Ghost Legion seem to have this firmly in the bag, although they did lose their Guardian, so there's a very, very slight possibility that they lose their Balgorn, though I sincerely doubt it, as, you know, the Samurai Sold Out team, probably distracted by Jintan's weeb ears, and, you know, they just got blinded and lost in the sauce for a couple minutes there, just enough to give Ghost Legion the upper hand.
Yeah, with that Armageddon now taking damage, only 2 Griffins left after that for Samurai Sword. There's no chance they're going to take out this flag Bal. Nice pickup there for Ghost Legion. You know, you bring your flagship and you lose your Logi. You know, there's some clenching going on there. You really don't want to lose that flag. You need it throughout the rest of the tournament, even if you're not going to field it as a threat in every single match through the banning phase, through the mind games phase, making your opponents think what it'll bring. So it's really nice that Ghost Legion not only won the match, but they kept their flag Balgorn going through, to which that sets them up so well to continue what I think we all expect to be an absolute tear through the losers bracket, with how well we've seen Ghost Legion under the name Nasty Boys appear in the EVE-NT tournaments, for example.
Yeah, and you know, Samurai Sold Out, they have a great game plan with this Geddon. They were hoping that Ghost Legion would focus on this Geddon for a little bit of time. The Geddon does have 2 smart bombs, it seems, and it did start smart bombing off the DPS drones from Ghost Legion. But Ghost Legion managed to just let it sit there and killed everything else around it. So even though they might lose a big portion of their drones right now, it is not a catastrophic loss for the rest of the match, because they already have it firmly in the bag. It's just 3 minutes of mopping up, and
yeah, we now see this Armageddon finally falling through structure to the bottom of its tank, so it is time for us to send it back to the studio with Nikal and the rest of the guys.
would definitely say it's a unique tier target calling.
Should be fine.
Nope.
I love EVE Online!
Welcome back to Alliance Tournament 15. I am your host, Nick Calvasol, joined by Jintan, Ryload, and Ithaca. We have just witnessed Samurai Sold Out versus Ghost Legion. Ghost Legion there managing to take the victory by systematically picking apart Samurai Sold Out there. Very hard game for them indeed. So I've got a couple of things to go over with you guys. Samurai Sold Out there did end up bringing double Deacon versus Ghost Legion bringing a Guardian instead. I kind of want to get your thoughts on generally, having two Logifrigs versus just one, cruiser logistics size ship, and what your kind of thoughts are on that. Ryload, I'll start with you.
Okay, so two logistics frigates. The main benefit of having those Logifrigs is that they can rep each other. So you don't have to rely on either rep bots or your self-rep, which is the most common way of sustain on an Aneros or a Guardian, for example. So that's your main benefit. The other benefit is that they're having extremely small sig radius, and they're actually quite fast with an afterburner. So there is some main advantage. Disadvantages are they are very weak. I mean, they are frigates. So that means they do have frigate EHP, although they are extremely tanky for frigates, they can still die particularly quickly, especially if you have, tracking bonus drones, which what Ghost Legion brought.
Okay, any other thoughts on that, Ithaca?
I think bringing dual logistics frigates is usually something done by the teams that are happy to have two strong pilots to do so. It is usually a lot more tricky than having a single Tech 2 logistics cruiser. You have to have the two of them. The ranges are so much shorter, they have to really focus on their positioning. It's so key, especially with Shield, with an optimal range of about 3 kilometers. They have to be moving in and out and in and out and just making sure that they know exactly where they are. It's something you don't really have to worry about so much. With things like an Aneros or a Guardian, you're able to, positioning is a little bit more forgiving. You can be further away, you can just be moving around, doing your own thing. The frigates, you really have to be aware of where the people you have to rep are and where your Logi buddy is. If you get split up or too far away from either one of them, let's say one of those frigates gets tackled and the rest of your comp is rushing in, then you have to make a decision. Do you go in yourself to try and rep the ship that's down there getting shot, or do you stick with your Logi buddy? And that could be a really hard decision for a lot of those frigates, and that's one of the main downsides from them.
Absolutely. And I'm sure a lot of people are asking, why the shades, Ithaca?
This is purely for my own protection here. I'm sitting next to Mr. Bling Tan over here, and I am finding it very, very glaring. So I do want to retain most of my eyesight. I did briefly look at him without the glasses. It is somewhat akin to staring directly into the sun itself.
Not recommended.
So this is, like I say, purely for my own protection.
Absolutely, I'm already partially blind, so I'm halfway there, so I may as well just burn all my
By the end of the night, we all may need it.
Exactly.
But I am being told we have a drone ship breakdown that we can go to here. Just have a look, because the drone ships have been very, very popular this weekend. No surprise, Tech 1 Vex are coming in there. Lots and lots of picks there. Ishtar a very close second, followed by Myrmidon, Gila, Vex, and Aviation. And we go further and further down. Algos, the very least picked here. Jintan, any surprises at all?
I want to point out something very specific here, and that's the fact that the Vexor is actually a ship that's being brought a lot by non-drone teams because it is so strong. It's not just something that's purely being utilized in these kind of mass medium drone setups, which are designed primarily to take out a T2 logistics and then hopefully race the enemies before they all die. That's what we saw in previous matches. Whereas the Vexor is actually being used quite heavily as support for general armor comps without the need for that critical mass of medium and heavy drones that we see being utilized to kill off T2 logistics quickly.
Fair enough. Yes, we see that the Rattlesnake, Magus, Stratios kind of sitting in the middle. We have seen quite a lot of Stratioses this tournament, though. It's an interesting one. I mean, what are your thoughts on the Stratios, Ryload?
Stratioses are a bit of a strange niche because they do cost as much as a pirate cruiser. They can only have 100 mm battle, so that means only 4 heavies. But the advantage is that they have the armor resistance bonus, so they're a little bit more tanky, and they have a much larger drone bay than their cousin, the Vex and Navy issue. So you're having a lot of trade-offs, and they costed a little bit extra. So it might be worth it. Maybe if your VNI gets banned, it might be worth it to bring the Stratioses instead. They also have 5 utility highs, or they can bring the pulse lasers, so full wrecking newts, that kind of stuff. So it's a very utilitarian. So I would definitely go for more of a VNI, but Stratios is also pretty strong. But I'm not really a fan of them.
Fair enough. And we have a second chart as well. We got lots of good charts coming up here. This one relating to Navy battlecruisers here. So we can see the performance breakdown. Brutic's Navy issue, a very, very popular pick here. Harbinger Navy issue, again, quite popular in this. Hurricane Fleet issue, not so much. And the Drake Navy issue, just one pick or two. It looks like one. But yeah, very, very uncommon here. Brutic's Navy, as we all know, it's that ship that most people fear because of that face-melting DPS that it provides. But the Hurricane Fleet issue, not picked so much. Any ideas, Ithaca, why that might be?
It just doesn't quite have the same power as things like the Harbinger Navy and the Brutic's Navy. You're more likely to pick those first. By the time you've picked your full roster of those, unless one of them has been banned, then you're probably running out of points to fill out with more battlecruisers unless you go with one of these really battlecruiser heavy comps. The Drake Navy at the bottom there, as you can see, no wins. It belongs basically in the garbage where it does live currently, which is a bit of a shame for the poor Drake Navy. But yeah, no, definitely seen the Brutic's Navy being picked a lot. I mean, the combination either of blasters or rails is just such a powerful ship.
Yep, so FC, can I bring my Drake? The answer is a resounding no, you cannot. So looking on to the next games here. So the next games we're going to be having is the Bastard Cartel versus United Federation of Conifers. Previous history for these guys, the Bastard Cartel lost to Mercenary Coalition but beat the Culture, and United Federation of Conifers beat Velour Accords but lost to Salt Farmers. So, both of these guys going to be duking it out in the lower bracket. Between these guys, do any of you have any strong feelings that one team is preferred over this? Is one the underdog, one the returning champion? What do you guys think?
I think given UFC's kind of display in their last match where they managed to lose to a Shield Rail Vindicator with RLML all in and failed to kill anything of real note, I'm going to give this to the Bastard Cartel, but who knows? Maybe they've learnt from their mistakes.
Fair enough. You, Ralid?
I'm going to go with the Bastard Cartel on this one because they did beat Velour Accords, and last AT, Velour Accords did actually go pretty far in the AT. They actually brought the Macarials, breaking the meta, and they actually did bring a faction Macarial as well. So they had a flagship Macarial. Unfortunately, it died, so they got pretty far. So if they beat Velour Accords, I'm going to go with the Bastard Cartel.
Okay, so pretty strong on the Bastard Cartel here. Ithaca, are you going to jump on the bandwagon here, or you got some faith for the United Federation of Conifers here?
I think I'm definitely going to be jumping on this bandwagon here.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to break off and go my own way. The Bastard Cartel, I think, are going to have this one. As Reload said, they did pretty well against Velour Accords, who brought the MOAs last year. They were ahead of their time, but unfortunately went out a little bit early this year. So Bastard Cartel, going for them.
Okay, so big favourites here, guys. They are going to have some trouble here trying to beat them. We do have the results from some of the latest polls. So the Jintan versus Fashion poll, I mean, let's be honest, that was the one that everyone was interested in. That's the only one that Twitch chat is interested in right now. So the winner of that was Baltar Mengos, if that is the correct pronunciation of your name. I'm not well known for my pronunciation. And the loser, of course, is basically everyone here. Have you seen the way the man dresses? He's wearing cat ears, for God's sake. And the Samurai Sold Out versus Ghost Legion, it looks like S810 Junior is the winner of that one. Props to you for having such a unique name. But yes, those are the results there. So it looks like we are setting up for the next game here, so it shouldn't be much longer. One more question before we sort of get into this. What are your guys' thoughts on the bombers that we've seen recently? Obviously, stealth bombers in an AT sort of tournament, you're not going to be using that stealth function that much. They are more there for the raw torpedo DPS, lots of DPS there, but very, very squishy. And obviously, not having the cloak, their main function, makes them a very easy target. And with the recent increase in drone boats that we've seen and lots of drones on the field, what are your guys' kind of thoughts on bombers? Do you still like them being picked? Do you still think they're very situational? Jintan, I'll start with you.
I think bombers are still a good choice, but they're going to be less important this tournament than they were in, say, AT14. And that's because the primary reason why they were more defensible in AT14 was due to the fact that you had a more top-heavy comp. You had like 2 or 3 battleships. Those were providing your DPS. battleships don't apply to frigates well, that means that your torpedoes also are applying well to those battleships. Here, they seem to be more about the utility that their bombs provide. And I think that's very interesting and probably more high-level gameplay for those players.
Fair enough. And Rilo, your thoughts?
Bombers are in an interesting situation right now because in last AT they were really popular. They were really bomber with like all-ins, really bomber with like headshot setups. But now we're going towards a meta where drones can track everything, and bombers have not much tank. They're very squishy, and even if you put like a 400 plate on them, they're still gonna like go down really quickly. And the potential of doing some crazy bomb runs, it's kind of cool.
It is definitely indeed. Right, so it looks like the players are ready. We're going to be getting into this game, so I will pass over to the casters, and they will take away the Bastard Cartel versus United Federation of Conifers.
And
guys.
welcome back.